Mickey Guyton, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. I've been really looking forward to this interview. So yeah.
Oh, I hope I don't let you down. My gosh.
No, you would never. You would never.
Hey, let's kick it off by giving you a big round of applause. Yay for the #1 hit with Dean Brody and Boys.
That is such an incredible experience. Dean is a saint of a human. It was just such, I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Well, I was going to ask you to describe for me Dean Brody to you.
Dean Brody has been such a kind person to me and to my family during these times. Like there have been some hard days for me as a new mom and getting online hate for speaking my truth. And Dean and his beautiful wife have just been so kind and reaching out and just making sure I'm okay. And that has just been so awesome.
You know, Dean Brody, he is a saint. You're right. I consider the guy a national treasure here in Canada. And I love how Canadians and radio in Canada have really embraced you.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but even in Nashville, like the people that have been working on this album have been Canadians. Like I guess we get each other, you know?
Hey, you mentioned a second ago about speaking your truth. And, you know, the challenges women face in country music are very well documented, let alone the challenges that are faced by a Black female country artist. And, you know, I just love that you're blazing a trail, you know, by way of becoming the first Black female artist to receive a Grammy nomination in a country category. You co-hosted the ACMs with Keith Urban. You perform on all these shows, everything else. Do you see yourself as the trailblazer you are?
You know, it's so crazy because we're still, you know, things are starting to open back up, but we're still in a pandemic. So I guess I do feel like I'm blazing a trail, but I'm not blazing a trail in a sense of like, I'm hoping to break records and be the first. I'm more so doing it for the people behind me. I've been in Nashville for a very long time and have seen so many women, Black, white, all races, that have dealt with difficulties in country radio. And I've understood my place as a Black woman. You know, so many different women, white women, can say all the time that they're feeling discriminated against in country radio and in the country music industry, but for some reason people don't hear it. But me as a Black woman who knows what discrimination feels like on a daily basis, whether I'm being a woman or not, I understand that. And me saying that, for some reason people have been able to hear that. When I'm saying, like, it's not just me. Yes, it is difficult as a Black woman to pursue a career in country music, but it's difficult for women, period. And that's my whole reasoning for wanting to blaze any trail. It's not to break records, but more so open the door for everyone.
Good for you. Is it getting better? Are we doing better?
I think people's eyes are opening. I'm not sure. You know, I think things are slowly getting better, and I have to celebrate the small wins, the wins, big or small. You know, I got to host the ACM Awards. That's a huge win. I've also been able to, when I'm out in Nashville and at award shows, I am seeing more people of color working behind the scenes. And that is a huge deal. You know, I don't think people were purposefully not hiring people of color. I just don't think they were thinking about it. And now they're thinking about that and realizing we need to create equal opportunities for everyone. So there is change. I want more change, but I can celebrate this and where we're at.
Terrific stuff. You said the trail you're blazing is for those coming behind you, which tells me there had to be somebody ahead of you. Who was that?
Yes, Reese Palmer was ahead of me. And I remember when I was getting ready to move to Nashville and pursue a career in country music, I first Googled Black women in country music. I was like, I can't possibly be the only one. And that's when I saw Reese Palmer. And Reese Palmer and seeing her, this beautiful Black woman with curly, gorgeous hair, pursuing her career, I felt like, oh, I can do that too. And so because I felt like, oh, I can do that too, I must be doing that for somebody else.
You know, I love too that you hit these very heavy issues in the music as well. I was at the Ryman Auditorium when you performed. I think it was Karen Kazowski was playing the piano for you on a song called "What Are You Going to Tell Her?" Now, to give our viewers and our audience context, it was at a country radio convention, an event called CRS, and at the Ryman Auditorium, you came out, room full of radio programmers, and you did the song called "What Are You Going to Tell Her?" And I think people, if they haven't already found the song, they need to find the song. And as importantly, they need to study the lyrics. And I've read them described as, the song described as a glass ceiling reckoning. But to me, that song's more than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's much more than that. Tell me about the writing of the song and explain to people who maybe are unfamiliar, what are you going to tell her?
Well, I wrote this song, What Are You Going to Tell Her, out of frustration, sitting in a room with Victoria Banks, Emily, and Karen Kosowski, 3 Canadian women that are paving and blazing a trail in Nashville themselves. And we've all had common experiences of feeling oppressed within this industry and in this world. And when I wrote this song, it wasn't to bring any kind of glass ceiling reckoning. It was more so getting people to think. We all have a mother. We all have a grandmother. Some of us might have sisters. Some of us might have girl cousins, but there are women in our lives, influential women in our lives. And what are we doing to protect them? And what have they gone through? And their own, I'm sure so many women in your lives have stories where they felt scared, they felt threatened, they felt oppressed, they felt like they were not enough. And it was more so bringing awareness to that. And maybe people can think and take a moment and think and step outside of themselves and think about the people around them. And that's women.
You know, there were lyrics in that song that just grabbed me by the shoulders and gave me a shake. And I think anybody who finds them, reads them, hears the song are going to feel the same way. So thank you for the music. Black Like Me is another very powerful song lyrically. What can you tell us about that and its writing?
Yes, so Black Like Me, I wrote that song. First of all, I read the book Black Like Me in college. And Black Like Me was written by a man named John Howard Griffin, a white man who darkened his skin through radiation to see what it was like to be a Black man in America in the Deep South in the 1960s.
Wow.
And he actually died of skin cancer. But for someone, he truly stepped in someone else's shoes to see what it was like. And that was something that always struck a chord with me. And there's such a line drawn in the sand for some reason against, people of color and white people, that there's a misunderstanding. And it's hard to understand someone else's story and others' perspective if you haven't walked in that person's shoes. And that's what that song was about. And yes, I'm so fortunate and blessed to be able to sing and pursue music and to be in a genre that I love so much. But what people don't know are the other side that have happened to me, the discrimination, me being called the N-word. And you could be the most successful person in the world. I could be a billionaire and still be called an N-word. And that is the true meaning of the song. And yes, it makes some people really upset when they hear the song, but they really don't understand the context of where it's coming from, which is, this is my experience. Yes, I am privileged to live in America, but there are a lot of things that I have to deal with that you would never have to deal with. And that's the story about that song.
Well, I'm so glad that you're using the platform to help educate all of us in some of the time today. You mentioned a few minutes ago, things are starting to open up, which is great. And new music continues to be created. and is
Yeah.
coming out. And your EP, Bridges, came out last September. And I know you're
Yes.
putting the finishing touches on a new
I
album
am.
that's
I'm
coming out.
putting a new album in September.
All right.
I'm
So
so
what can you tell us
excited.
about that?
You know, it's really, it's still more of my story from growing up till now, of what I've gone through in my life. Self-acceptance. That's a lot of what this album is about, is learning to accept myself and trying to just bring people together. I want people to feel seen and to feel heard. And that's what this album is.
Terrific. Did I hear you say September is when that's coming?
Yes.
Well, congratulations in advance.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love that. We always love when new music, you know, new music through the pandemic has been the one thing it seemed we could rely on.
Yes. Yes.
So thanks for doing your part.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
This is my pleasure. So for the rest of 21 and for that matter, 2022 and the new record, what's success gonna look like? How would you define success for the next chapter for Mickey Guyton?
Oh man, getting to put out an album, getting more TV and film opportunities, you know, raising this beautiful boy that I have screaming in the background. If y'all can hear him, I'm so sorry. But that's really what success is for me, raising a family, getting to spend time with my husband and just continuing to be able to put out music. That's success for me.
4 months old, Grayson, how has motherhood changed life for you?
Oh man, it's truly the greatest thing I've ever done. It just really, everything that I am, everything that I went through in my life led me up to be this boy's mom. This is where life began for me. It's so crazy to say that, but I feel like I have a bigger purpose than anything, is to create a beautiful life for him. And it's just, nothing else matters.
Was so well said, you know, and you and I, before we had recorded the interview, I said my son turned 14 yesterday, and it all comes and goes like that. He's taller than me. He's got hair. He hits a golf ball further than me, you know, and I'm so proud of him on all counts.
That's so beautiful.
And as the parent of a teenage daughter,
happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you. You know, I got all the usual gifts, like old person candy, a couple of new golf shirts.
Yeah, you know, poor dads. They just phone it in for you guys.
Oh, that's not true. I had a wonderful day. I had a great day. How was your husband's first Father's Day?
It was really, really good. He went swimming with Grayson, and we got him a couple of gifts. It was special for him.
You know, the only thing I really want for Father's Day any year, I just want a hug from the kids. That's all.
Yeah. It's gotta love it.
Well, you've given me more of your time than you ever needed to. I appreciate this. Mickey Guyton, where do people find you on socials?
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm trying to get into TikTok, but I'm really having a difficult time trying to do that. And Facebook at Mickey Guyton. And that's and it's MICKEYGUYTON. That's where you can.
I feel like we should say MICKEYGUYTON.
I do that. I just didn't know if I should.
You can do anything. Mickey, this is a real pleasure. I've been looking forward to this, and I'm so pleased to have you help tell your story and to our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.